adventurer. I'm also a photographer, so I do a lot of landscape photography. First time that I knew about it was with that movie with Martin Sheen called The Way. Normal vacation time, which is like 1 week or 2 weeks. You can find a route, or rather a start and finish. Being able to rent it on location, it's in the majesty of nature. Trees and trails and things like that. Cell phone, when you're walking the Camino, actually, that's a question that I had. How is the cell phone service?
Hey, hello, pilgrims. Welcome to a Camino Wonder podcast. Today we have our third episode, and we have with us Sam. And the purpose of this podcast is to talk for people that have done already the Camino, that they tell us their experience and what they did, that they like it, and what they don't like it. And as well as for people that have not done the Camino, to listen what is important that you can consider in the future. Today we have here Sam, and he has not done the Camino.
Have not.
So we are going to be talking a little bit about that. So what do he knows about the Camino and things like that. So welcome, Sam. Tell me a little bit about you and why you would like to walk the Camino.
Well, I consider myself kind of an adventurer. I'm also a photographer, so I do a lot of landscape photography. And I discovered the Camino not only from meeting you, but the first time that I knew about it was with that movie with Martin Sheen called The Way.
Okay.
You know, which is a good movie, and that's how I discovered what it was all about. You know, and so when I talked to you about it, I got a little bit more details of what it is. But I still have questions, and I've never done it, so it will be interesting to have more information about it and to see when I do it.
Okay, and I if I don't remember incorrectly, so you did you didn't do the Camino, but you were in Santiago.
So I've been to Santiago de Compostela, just the town in and of itself. And when I was there, I saw the pilgrims. I saw people with backpacks and the pilgrims kind of in the area. And I did see some of the signage, or the what do you call it, the
shell.
The shell. Yeah, I saw the shell in certain places, and I didn't really know what it was. And so that I discovered that that's kind of like how you know where to go. Maybe you can explain a little bit about it. I'm not 100% clear on it, but apparently the shell, as you're walking, you see the shell, and they tell you kind of the direction in which you need to go, so that you don't get lost.
What they tell you is that there are like a different post, and the posts have the shell that is the symbol of the Camino. And with that, so it also have the how many kilometers are from the point of that post to Santiago, the Cathedral of Santiago.
Right. So I've been to Santiago de Compostela, and it was a beautiful town, and it was active and lively, and it's very interesting. And I did see some of the pilgrims. So
well, for people like you that like a lot of the photography, it's a really nice place to go and explore, because you're gonna find different scenarios where you can take pictures. Right. And in the event that you like, for example, to take pictures with a drone, so that's gonna be amazing.
So actually, that's a really good question that I have. Right, I know in the U.S., flying drones is restricted in certain areas. Like, for example, at national parks, you can't just take out your drone and fly it. You'll be in violation of FAA rules. So how does that work? How does that work there? Can you just take out your drone and start flying it around in the Camino? Or are there restrictions, or do you know there might be restrictions?
What I know is as long as be a regular drone, not something very professional, shouldn't be a problem. But always it's better to make a consultation with a safety rules that place for Spain in this case.
Right. I would think in the more rural areas of the Camino, there wouldn't be a problem. But then maybe closer to the towns or the cities, especially if there's like a World Heritage site or something like that, maybe there's some issues there.
Yeah, there are a lot of rural places that you're gonna be going through, but also you're gonna be going through towns. And as long as you follow the rules, and I can find out later, and I can let you know exactly is there any different rules than the one that we have in the US for flying a drone. But so
now another question. I'm also a cyclist. Like I said, I like the outdoors. I do kayaking, I do cycling, and things like that, and I do mountain biking. So I've heard now. I'm not sure if this is true, but you can also do the Camino with a bike.
yeah,
You can bike the Camino.
That is correct. You can walk the Camino, or you can bike the Camino, and but if you wanted to get the certificate, like the Compostela, that is a certificate that they give you when you finish your Camino. The condition varies. So there are for people that do walking and for people that do also biking. And there are also another thing, people can do it also by horse, or they can do it by boat. So there are multiple
piggyback.
ways to
piggyback with somebody.
So I'm going to explain you a little more how that works. So for people that is walking, what they need is to walk the last 100 kilometers of any of the official routes for the Camino. And then also they need to stamp their pilgrim passport at least twice a day. And generally, people, the way that they do it is they do it at very early in the morning when they leave the hotel where they are staying, and then through the way in restaurants or any places that have stamps, you get those stamps, or at the hotel, the next hotel when you arrive to the next hotel. So that's one of the conditions. The other condition have to be in chronological order, what the distance that you're walking. And then the other one is that you are doing the Camino for spiritual reasons or for religious reasons. When you're talking about spiritual cover almost everything, because when you are thinking about anything, you are doing something spiritual. Then the other thing is that if you're doing by bike, that's changed. Everything is the same except the number of kilometers. So it has to be 200 kilometers.
Is it? I would assume some places the trail is different, the route is different for bikers and for hikers, or is it pretty much the same?
It's pretty much the same, but there are wider places, there are wider routes. And so you when you're walking, you from time to time you see
some bikers,
some bikes that are passing you, but the majority of people do the Camino is walking.
Right.
There are people that of course that do it by bike, but it's not the majority. And I mentioned to you that you can do also by boat. Yes, there are ways to do it by boat, but then you have other conditions. I don't know exactly what are those conditions, but have to be some more nautic miles that you need to complete in order to do it by boat. There is one Camino that is the English Camino, and that Camino is, you can come even there are people even that come from the UK part than by boat, so they cross the ocean in a boat, and then they continue once they are inland in Spain.
Okay.
So there's multiple ways to do it, and there are also multiple distances. So the Camino may have the long way, for example, the one for the movie, The Way. It's like a 780 kilometers, and you are talking that probably to complete the Camino like that, you need to walk at least 36 days.
Wow.
And during those 36 days, you're going to find a lot of things. One thing is more beautiful than the other one, and you're going to love it. But in general, people that do that Camino is people that is already retired because they have the time to walk all that.
Yeah, distance. I can't do 36 days.
The majority of people do a short way that is 100 kilometers or 120 kilometers that you can do that in a week.
Right. But that's good, right? That you can kind of customize it to whatever time you have available, right? So you can do the long, if you're retired or I don't know, you're taking a sabbatical or something and you want to do a 36-day walk, the Camino, then you can do that. But if you're normal vacation time, which is like 1 week or 2 weeks, you can find a
Yes,
a route, or rather a start and finish that's for that duration of time. Is that correct?
that's correct. And actually, we have a customer that contracted one of the tour packages with us, and that person wanted to do the Camino mix. So that means that half of the Camino biking
Oh,
and
cool.
the other half walking.
That's cool.
So we made the coordination in order that the person can bike, but also is taking her bike back at the moment that is going to be enough for her to complete the 100 kilometers walking.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you do less than 100 kilometers, then you're not going to get the certificate.
So another question. When you do the Camino, is it always one way? You're always going to Santiago de Compostela? So that the
Yes,
whole point of that, the whole
all
point
the
is that that's where you end.
yeah, all the
Okay.
caminos go to Santiago de Compostela.
Okay.
But also, if you want to go backward, you can go backward
Right.
as well.
Do it
But
in reverse.
yes, you can do it reverse. But the goal is
and walking backwards.
the goal is to get to Santiago. And so
Okay.
once you get to Santiago, so let's say, for example, you're coming from the US
Mm-hmm.
and you fly there through, let's say, for example, to Madrid. And from Madrid, then you move to the place where you're going to start that route. Let's say, for example, this year we're going to be, next month actually, we're going to Sarria to do the French Camino.
Right.
And we are going to be flying to Madrid, then we're taking the train from Madrid to Sarria.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Sarria we start walking. That's like 117 kilometers as distance. And once we get to Santiago, we are going to return by train to Madrid again.
Okay.
So, and then also we're going to do another travel. We're going to do actually the French Camino, but that we're going to go by car and on the France part. That is where actually it started.
So that one's called Le Camino because it's French.
Yeah, but then also another thing that is interesting, and there are most of the people doesn't know about that there's not just one Camino. There are tens or hundreds of Caminos that cross all around Europe.
Right.
And they connect each other. And talking about just the one that are in Spain, Spain probably have around 40 to 50 different Caminos.
Wow.
And they are coming from different parts of Spain. So you can go, for example, there's a Camino that came from Barcelona to Santiago. There is another one that came from Sevilla to Santiago. So there is the Coastal Portuguese Way. That's one that is amazing Camino. There are two versions. There is the Central Portuguese Camino, and there is that's going inland, and there is also the Coastal Portuguese Camino that is going very close to the coast.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when you plan for doing the Camino, do you have any particular date? Something? Have you think about that? When you would like to do that?
Well, I hate the heat. So for me, it'll have to be sometime in around September where the temperatures are cooler, right? So, after summertime or maybe in the spring, will be nice, earlier in the year or later in the year for me.
Actually, so the best date.
That's just my personal preference. I always tend to travel in those months because I'm heat averse. So I've been to Europe in the heat and it's not fun. It's not fun here in the U.S.
Yeah.
I always travel,
That's correct.
I always try to go September, October, and maybe, and then maybe not February, but March, May, April, around there. It's also more beautiful, right? Because you get fall colors. So as a photographer, that's good for me, or spring flowers, things like that. But everybody's different, right? I guess some people like the heat. I don't. I hate the heat. I'm from Miami, and I hate the heat. That's why I moved to North Carolina to move away from the heat. So,
okay. Yes. In general, most of the people that are not from Spain, so they do the Camino on those seasons.
Which ones?
In
the summertime?
In the spring or in the fall.
So I'm not the only crazy person then.
No, you're not the only one. Especially because Spain the heat is really, really, really high at the summertime. But then also in people from Spain, because they have the vacations in the summertime, they are doing the Camino by a lot.
So those are the busy months too, right? So I guess you also have to think about that, crowds and things, or not really.
During the summertime is when there's more crowded, because there's people. Everybody in Spain is on vacations. You know that the summer in Spain is something like very crazy. When they are in summer, they are in summer. It's not just one person; it's a lot of people on vacations. And in general, there are very young people who do the Camino at the time of the year. But for people like us, it's better to do it in a fall or in springtime. And then winter time, there is also people that do the Camino during the winter time, but that you have to be not a professional walking or hiking, but you have to have experience, because you need to be a different temperature that may be really cold. And actually, this is one of the things that happened on the movie, The Way. That
it's been a while. I saw the movie a long time ago. I mean, this is a movie from what, 2010 or something like that?
2010, that's correct.
So it's been a minute. But yeah, I know that there was also, is this the movie where they also had I mean, this was way back, right? So the way that you guys do it is different. But they stayed at hostels in the movie, and they had food drops, didn't they? They had where they would do a food drop in the location where they were. I don't know. It's kind of, or maybe that's another movie, but it's totally different than how you do it, right? Because I mean,
yeah, we can accommodate both. We can accommodate so by like a package that includes all the different stops to the different hotels.
Gotcha.
So okay, so and tell me something else. So when you will go by yourself, or you will go with someone else?
No, I will go with my wife, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's also a lover of the outdoors. You know, she loves animals and the outdoors, and you know, we always go together everywhere. So
okay, is anything special that you would be beside the photography and seeing the scenarios and all that you are looking to get from the Camino?
Not really. I mean, that's my thing. You know, my spiritual, I guess, connection is with nature, is with the outdoors, right? That's why I do all kinds of stuff, and I'm a nature, not necessarily a nature photographer. I don't really shoot animals much, but definitely landscapes and cityscapes and things like that. So I also like architecture, right? So the European architecture is also appealing to me. But it's mostly that, just to be out in the majesty of nature, and trees and trails and things like that. I've always liked.
Yeah, and also because there is you're going to the old continent, and then you are walking, you're gonna have more time to appreciate everything that you see it.
Right.
And you're gonna find a lot of things that are from centuries,
right,
that were built a long time ago.
Which is also interesting to me. I have an interest in history as well. So I love old ruins and centuries old buildings and architecture of that time and the different cultures. So all that stuff.
Yeah, you're gonna find a lot of things from the Romans, because you know that before being Spain, it was part of the Roman Empire. So that you're gonna have bridges, so a lot of things that you can still find out through any of the routes of the Camino of Santiago. And then, so then, beside your wife, you will go with someone else, or you're just?
Not really. I mean, maybe, but it's usually her and I.
Okay.
We do most of the trip ourselves.
And have you heard someone else that know about the Camino, or is?
I had the reason why I know about the biking is because some friends of mine, I believe, did the Camino. I have some friends that did it walking, and some friends that did it with a bike a long time ago. So that's why I was wondering. I mean, this was a bit ago, so I didn't get all the details, but I had heard that you could do. I didn't know you could do the whole route with bikes, but I know that they did a section of it for sure using mountain bikes.
And then for doing my bike, also that that we can accommodate the bike and provide the bike at the first stop where you're gonna sleep the first night. or if you want it, you have your own bike that you would like to take there.
Actually, that's a question that I hadn't thought about. Right? Is it's a bike, but what bike?
Yeah.
It's probably very expensive to take your own bike. So I would hope that there are some rentals, some mountain bike rentals that you can do. So that's a thing that. Okay.
That's correct. There is a company that we work with that is specialized on doing
cool,
the type of service, and the bike, everything is under insurance and all that in case that something happens. They provide your helmet as well, so you're gonna have everything that you're gonna.
Yeah, because that's to first of all, you can't just go to the airport with your bike and check it. You have to break it down. You have to put it in a box.
Yeah.
And it's a special box. And then when you get to the place that you want to ride it, you have to unpack it, you have to rebuild it, put it together, and then you have to do the same thing coming back. So it's just not something you want to do. So being able to rent it on location, it's huge.
Okay. Yeah. That's really cool. Well, Sam, thank you very much for being here. One last thing before we finish the podcast. We like to play a little game that is this or that. So I'm gonna ask a few questions, and then that way you respond whatever you think that is you will do it that way.
Okay.
So when talking about the Camino and when you plan to do it, will you prefer to have someone plan it for you, or you would like to do the logistic by yourself?
Nah, someone plan it for me.
Okay. Would you like to?
I don't have time or patience to plan it myself.
Okay. Would you like that someone take care of, make the transportation of your luggage from one hotel to another one, or you prefer to have that with you?
The first option.
Okay.
Have someone do it. Yeah.
Okay.
If possible, yeah. That's what I would prefer for sure. 100%.
Yeah, because also that's for the weight, so you don't have to do that with you.
And I have, my back isn't great. I'm almost 50 years. I'm gonna be 50 this year. So, save that back. Save it for the hike.
Okay, and the other question is that you would like that when you are there, you see that it's important to have a local person that help you in case that you have any questions, or you see that you are okay by yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
How is the cell phone when you're walking the Camino? Actually, that's a question that I had. How is the cell phone service? Is it usually not an issue?
Yeah, usually there is not an issue. What is important that before you leave the US, you verify that with your carrier, and the different carriers have different options.
Right.
But in general, they charge you around $10 to $15 per day, and that includes data, so mobile, and then also text.
Yeah, that's not normally what I do. And when I was there at Santiago, I didn't have cell phone coverage. I'm kind of more referring to between towns. So like as you're walking between towns.
Yeah, that I guess really it depends. In general, that's fine. So Spain and in general all the European countries, they have a very very very.
Yeah,
nice
I didn't really remember having an issue, and that was a few years ago. So I'm sure now it's even better.
Yes, and with the cell phone, I actually recommend that you take your cell phone and then have a plan that in order that you can work like you are in the US. You can call here, or you can call Spain also with local phone numbers.
Okay.
I believe that all the local calls are through all the European community. Okay, so thank you very much for all your time here.
You're welcome. Thank you,
Sam.
Thank you for having me on.
And thank you, Pilgrims, for watching us again. And for please follow us on our social media channels, and also on the comment sections on the YouTube. Add your questions. That's something that future people that we interview can respond for you to help you on your Camino preparation. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Efrain.